What's going on, everyone? Donovan here. Welcome back to this Donovan Show. Glad to see you. Glad that you're here. Yeah, we've been doing some interesting videos lately. The last one that I shared with you was about cleaning up your room, and this is the follow-up to it, where I just want to talk to you about personal development. Really, just focusing on that because it's one thing to just go through life and live, kind of drift, but you want to go through life with a intention, with many intentions. And I know for a while I drifted. I drifted for a while. I listened to what other people suggested I do, and not saying those were bad suggestions, but that wasn't me and what I really wanted to do. I really didn't know myself. So I spent a lot of years just kind of wondering some things that I wanted to do artistically. I was kind of doing in the background, but I didn't know that's what I wanted to do. So I was doing all these different things, but kind of in the background I was doing writing. So that's what kind of helped develop me when I was younger. But when I started going to church, when I started learning about God, and really what it is to apply His character to my life, I started really learning about personal development. Because it's one thing that, you know, someone can tell you to, oh, you just got to love them, or you just got to forgive them, or you just got to put some pep in your step, or you, especially for a man, just different things that people say to you that have to keep you going, and you have to grow up and be better in your life. And for some of us, it depends on who you are. You may have had a dad growing up in the household. You may have not had one. Different mentors in your life or not. Those things are important, and self-development is important too. Now, what do I mean by self-development? Well, there are different types. For me, when I started going to church, I remember hearing the message. So that's one way you can learn about personal development, hearing the message, hearing the word, and just, okay, thinking there's some things, I'm thinking about, I want to change, I want to do. But for me, when I would go out, come out of the service, and there would be a book and tape table. And in that book and tape table, you can get a copy of the sermon. But there were lots of books talking about, God's grace, talking about marriage, talking about singlehood, just talking about different things, books. And of course, I'm talking about, the spiritual, but I'm actually talking about the whole gamut of our lives. But that's what got me started, is that I started buying books from that tape table and started reading. And that's the key point. I started buying. I started investing in my personal development. I started buying. I started reading. And reading those lines, reading those perspectives, reading those that inspiration over and over again helped to inspire me, helped to me to develop conviction and start applying some of those things, because my life was at a point where, I can say I want to do this or do that, I'm going to be this or be that, but I never did really have the energy or the power, the motivation to do so, the transformation to do so. So going to church at that time and really learning about God, that He can change me, He could transform me. That's one thing hearing that from the outside, so to speak, but when you step inside yourself and really see what's going on in your character, then you can really know what books to buy, what audio to listen to, what videos to watch, to kind of gear you towards, okay, your transformation, your change. And seeing those results of you changing, when you practice forgiveness, when you practice, okay, loving, when you practice learning things and from a different perspective, it helps change your perspective, it helps strengthen your perspective. it helps you to be better as a person. That's what I mean. When you apply those things, it helps you change and people to see that on the outside, but for you to know that on the inside. All right, we talked about buying, reading, applying, but you definitely have to remember. I know there used to be a lot of books or a lot of times where I would buy, read, apply things, and I would put the book back on the shelf. And I still have a lot of books that I have on the shelf, but now I have them turned a certain way. I have them facing a certain way because I go back to those books to help me remember. Um, you get motivated by things. It can empower you for a while. Some convictions last longer than others. Some convictions, things come up to distract you or discourage you, and you need to go back to the source to help you to remember to apply those things, to help you to remember what were the effects of those things, how they helped you. So always remember, always, when you're buying a material for personal development, to read it, to apply it, and remember it. Keep it before you so that you can always know it. And I know a lot of people, they don't think about God, or they don't really consider God and how he is in our everyday. But that's one thing that I really knew, especially uh, in my 20s growing up. I believed that God was there. I just didn't know how to access him, or really live a good life. Not saying that I live a good life now, but I definitely try to put his principles into practice, that I can do that. And I believe that's where personal development starts. It helps me to slow down and really take a look at my life and see where I want to go, where I'm at, where I'm headed, and change the direction. But not just according to me, but to look into like a moral lens, to look into a positive lens, because it's so easy on default to be distracted, to be depressed in this life, to go the way everybody else is going, and not really go the way that God directs you to go. And a lot of us we can have goals and dreams to do things, but we can do them with such a negative, a critical harshness. We can get to a certain point. Yeah, you can be successful and have no friends, no family behind you. You can be successful and have no love, just love no one and be hated. Do you want to really live a life like that? Well, I believe personal development helps us to change that. And it starts with, God's Word, and expanding into great books that will help us. Now, in saying that, I do want to talk about the material itself. There are plenty of books that I've read. I think I told you guys about this one in particular. This, I was reading, I was going through a time where I was kind of going through a depression, where one dream that I really wanted to see happen, I got discouraged. I went through a loop on some things, and I was moved by this book, and I read it, and as you can see here, it says, "Today matters." And I'm not kidding, guys. I was reading this book, and as you can see, I buy books. I don't borrow books, I buy books because I like marking through them. If it's a certain point, certain highlights, I like really studying them out, really writing notes, things that I can apply. That helps me. And so this book helped me. This is one of the reasons I started the channel, as I told you guys before. So I love personal development books, but I do want to give you guys a warning. In whatever the personal development you get, whether it's viewing someone's content, whether it's reading a book, whether it's hearing something, keep in mind the message and how it rings true to you. There are a lot of content creators, there are a lot of authors that they share a great message with you. They share great perspectives with you, but their personal lives are jacked up. So keep in mind the message and not the messenger, how it rings true to you. All right, guys, to sum it up, that's it. I just want to encourage everyone to work on your personal development as we go into a new year very shortly here. And not really as we go into a new year, as we get to each day we're given, definitely work on your personal development. Buy a book for you to really read and apply and remember and watch it change your life. Starting with the Bible, just watch it change your life. There are definitely things, books around that can help you expand your way of thinking on how to love, how to forgive, how to live your life. So that's my video for today, guys. And as always, if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. Donovan out. Peace.